Maybe we should use as well the tape roll that you might already remember from our video scanning parts with the Pro HD. Okay, so we're ready to go. Start the screen recorder and start with laser scanning. We'll make a new project group. For all of you that didn't see the videos before from other scanners, new projects should be considered as folders. The software is working a little bit like a data bank. It means it saves in different parts of the process. It saves automatically your scan results, and it's not file based. So if you are trying later on to save a file like you would do it in a normal software, like for example Word or then any other software from the Office package in Windows, you would have some surprise that you would not like to have in the wrong situation. That means there is a Save As button, but it doesn't do what you expect it to do. It saves a point cloud from the active scan that you have, and the point cloud just can be reused using, for example, Geomagic Essentials or any meshing software. But if you don't have it, it's just a point cloud and you will not be able to open it with the normal software solutions that you might have as well, the software from Shining 3D. So we create a folder to save the project, and if you want to create a copy to secure your current state, copy the whole folder, put it into a backup folder that you create to save some certain data standard you have. For example, you go to the customer and you scan a project, you don't want to lose the data. At no case, just create a copy. Normally it doesn't happen anything, but we had like hardware crashes, or we had problems like doing something foolish, deleting something we shouldn't have deleted, and it's good to have it anyway. So we have a new project. We have here some already known buttons for the guys of you who watch the videos from other scanners. This is the global marker reading button. You can go there and read global markers from other systems like a photogrammetry system. I just will change the language to English because I think most of you will want to see that in English, and it might be easier to find the same things. We just don't want to read any pre-scanned coordinates as markers. We don't pre-scan the markers or anything. We just want to scan. Do something simple, easy to start with. So we don't need it. Point cloud means like you're scanning points from the start, and if you opt here for markers, you can just pre-scan the markers. What is really cool, like for optimization of your global preciseness, if you're scanning especially big parts, I would recommend to do it if you have the time. It takes more time to pass around the object 2 times, of course, but it does some kind of error compensation, calculating the same markers from different views, and it ends up normally much better. If you have really large objects, it's something you have to do it. It starts to get problematic in most of the scanners if you're scanning objects that have a maximum length more than 2 meters. If it's bigger, you have to do it actually. If it's smaller, it depends on your preciseness that you want to achieve. Here's the different laser modes that I can as well activate and deactivate from the scanner side. And just securing it. And here is the different modes like reflective and normal mode. What is interesting that is that there is no black mode anymore. It's not like it's not there because they thought nobody needs it. No, it's just the normal mode is good enough right now that you don't need to switch to a black mode. And I think it will happen soon as well to the reflective mode, that the software is auto-detecting your surface and gives you the best result. And another step in that direction is the camera sensitivity check. That's automatic exposure, so you can just click on it and you don't have to do anything anymore to adjust it, and it will be automatically adjust the right way. So here you could see the camera window. Of course you don't see anything because laser is so strong that environmental light doesn't light up the camera. If we start the laser, it's there, you can see it. And you see here that as well, the sensitivity for the camera changed after he had some time to pre-evaluate the result. Yeah, there is outdoor mode, we are indoor, no problem. I will check if it's really worth or not. Normally laser scanners are not so sensitive regarding outdoor environmental light. Why? Simply because the laser light is much more intense and it has a light information that's so different from the environmental light that the camera can detect it. Okay. Nothing to really care about. So we start the scan or by pushing the button in the middle on the back side, but you can as well use the software play button. Effect will be the same. You are leaving the pre-scan mode and you see that you are scanning already, and there is a frame rate that you can see, and there is a point collection data that you can see, and you can see that this is really fast. There is a lot of points acquired. I'm wondering that there is not a fast and a normal scan mode for not so powerful hardware. Maybe you already hear it in the background. Yes, the laptop with its Ryzen 5 is really working. You can just check it here. And you see here, yes, it's good to have a Ryzen. The CPU in scanning got some stress to deal with. And you see as well, yeah, I don't have to really do so much. Like in the beginning of laser scannings with shining scanners, you had to really pre-adjust and change the modes and stuff like that. No, it's not like that anymore. It's just enough to really point on the objects and start to scan. And in this case we didn't use markers on the object, as I already mentioned in other videos. I'm a bit lazy about that one. I just like to have it in the environment as the object is not so big that I will not reach inner areas of the object if I use surrounding markers. That's absolutely fine. I don't have to put markers on the object. It spares me some time and doesn't affect so much the results. And something you've seen as well, on the one side it's good to have this security. On the other hand, if you forget that you have it, it might happen that you will drag the scanner down the table. It will of course not crash on the floor, but it will, let's say, scratch over some areas that you might not want to. Okay, first scan is done. So that can be done in optimization and then could be generated the mesh, but I don't need it. It's just a small object. We'll just generate a point cloud. And yes, maybe I should use a water-cooled tower. We have one, but not here in this room, because you see, it was a good idea to put the laptop below the table, but because of the high potential, a lot of point scanning from the scanner itself, it have to work more. So blowing the fans is still some topic that you can hear in my case. And you see that the preview result with a normal standard resolution of 0.2 looks really cool. It looks crispy. Even it will get better passing through the filters to the end, but that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to clean it up. I was in the old videos from the EinScan HX speaking about all these tools here, and I'm just going to follow through the basic things that you could use. For example, this is a tool for selecting. Down here below is written all that what you have to know about the different possibilities. Shift and left mouse is select. That means I put shift, select something here. Always click the mouse left side if I want to have a corner point, and I've selected something. There is control and left mouse for unselect. Control, mouse, unselect. Tool is working the same way, and you see that's unselected. There is different other lassos and things that you might know from, I don't know, any graphic program, picture program, Photoshop, whatever. Straight line. It's not a straight line. Okay, I'm going to figure that out. Paintbrush is quite clear. Okay. It's everything that you want. If you want to deselect it, I, for example, push Control, left mouse button and keep it pushed. And you see everything from the left side of this line is just deleted. It's pretty interesting. And it's the same with the selection button. You are keep pushed your shift, you keep the left mouse button touched and just leave it, and it's selecting everything on the other side in a straight line. That can be really useful. I will show you for what. For one of the things I do most in this case is delete everything that's below of my tape roll. What is really cool. I didn't realize that function before. And I have the things that you already know. Connected domain means he will try to mark everything that have some connection, but here it will mark everything because there is nothing kept as space between the object and the helping parts. Invert is quite clear. You can just select something and invert it to select the opposite, and this is to delete it. Quite clear. It's fine, I just keep what I need. And it's time to do the second orientation. I think like this it was more stable. What it means, new project group. Project group, as already mentioned in other videos, it's like a new view. He's forgetting all the marker positions relatively to the object, and you start a new scan that you can use with the other scan together, but it's independent numerically. So it helps you to not create a second object in your first scan if you turn the part and don't create a new view. That's the opposite. If you just turn the part and don't create a new view, you will create a second part in your data that's turned in the new position, but keep the old one. That's what you don't want. Okay. Just going to use that again. Nothing new. Start scan with the button and start scanning. Like in the other EinScan and FreeScan products, there is some familiar functions that you have, for example, on the back side of the scanner, there is this 4 buttons that I can use for left and right to fine adjust the brightness level of the camera if I want it. Or I can have like a zoom, but it's not a real zoom from the scanner itself. It's just your view on the PC that you will increase or decrease the area that you are able to see. So nothing new compared to the other projects, scanners of course. And from the scanning side as well, nothing unusual that you don't already know. What is really cool compared to an EinScan HX, that's not so much cheaper. You have the different laser modes that you know from the FreeScan UE Pro, that even the UE11 don't dominate it. This is, for example, that 7-line laser modes, not anymore that 13 cross lines. It's just for a smaller distance to the object. What really makes it cool, scanning inside cars. So I can scan and you can see it that close. And imagine if you are scanning in the interior of a car, it's really cool. And normally the focus of the 7-line laser is much more fine. You can see that even on the object, that these lines appear more thin. That means they enable a higher resolution with the same camera. Okay, so for some reason I will stop scanning by just pushing the button not long enough. If I push it once more, we are going to switch to the single line. That's as well something the HX doesn't have. That's for penetrating small areas like here. You see that eye from the screw down there, and it's scanned with a single line, really easy. You can even try to enter in this very small, tiny, thin gaps from the clamping. It will not be perfect because of the triangulation, but it will be much better. But for this scan, not so important. We just can go back, scanning like we did before, finish our rotation that we started out. Because of the casting part, we can just spend a bit more time here on the inside. Yeah, maybe this could be a case for a single line. And you see, yes, the single line is really some gap killer that helps you in the different situation to get into gaps that you wouldn't reach with an EinScan HX at all. Okay, fine. Another view done. I will just have to find some solution for that rope. On the one hand I like it, on the other hand I stuck in it. Let's pre-mark some area that is a bit spread, and then let's use the cutting plane. We are just defining the cutting plane by what we selected, and we just cut away what it's below. You can leave that cutting plane inside and he will continue to use it. In the case of scanning, always with the same clamping, that's quite usual, usually something helpful. But if you are not always referencing on the same level, I prefer to delete it. As you can see, you can as well define it by markers, what is really cool, because it gives you the opportunity to get good references. For example, if you have it on a stone from a measurement plate and you have markers there, it's a really good perpendicular position to cut away anything. You can do it with the straight line, like I showed you the straight line function before. No problem, nothing really that you will not understand fast. Let's finish the scan by a third view. I'm just going to turn that part upside down. Restart the scan. We are just in the single line mode, and as you can see here, I can switch as well on the screen. Activate the scanning to leave the preview. And I already think that I will use it in the daily work really often because of the fact that it's very flexible, it's very compact. It's still furious fast, and it's not so expensive. It's really pleasant in the end just to finish the areas that you didn't capture well with the fast mode, and it's like getting the best out of your possibilities. So just if you don't want to think too much about your paths that you will do over the part, just scan it with the 26 laser line mode and then pass over it with the single line, and you have captured the most possible, I think. Okay, let's clean up the part after we deleted what we don't want to keep. I really like that new line tool. So let's use it. I think I shouldn't leave off too fast. That's something as well I didn't explain in the videos before. I think here's a markers edit function. That means if you switch here, you can just select markers as editing references, and switching back you are just having the points as editing references, and that's why I had this phenomenon not selecting the first situation. So if you want to select something over the markers, it's possible right now too. From the side of the alignment didn't change so much. It's still the same functions like it had been before. I really like the automatic version is so comfortable, and it's working so fine. So I just pre-select the two parts. I opt for automatic alignment, and you see here it's pretty good, and you see that the interference of the points mean that the part quality regarding surface is fine. I can go for next, and to show you the different other versions, I just not going to do that by feature, that's automatic. I do it manual. By markers is you select markers on the object. It have to be on the object or on the environment. If you didn't move the setup, that means didn't move the environmental markers regarding the position and as well the orientation of the object. But we did, so we cannot use it in this case. Maybe we do it in the next example. So we are going to do here the manual version. What does it mean? It means you have to pre-select some points, and based on the points he will do a pre-alignment, and afterwards he will do optimization alignment that you don't have to care about. This is very popular over many years for many scanners, so nothing really new. As well, again, here is the online help below, telling you what to do below the viewport, where you can see the current situation of the alignment, and shift and left mouse is selecting areas. It's always positive if you pre-select orientation that is the same or similar on both sides. Why? It's much easier to find corresponding areas without screwing up your head. Depends on how gifted you are imagining different orientations and different views. It doesn't have to be pretty perfect, it has to be fine for some estimated possible pre-positioning, and the rest will be automatically optimized, and you see it's again fine. I would not have had to do this because it's a easy to align part. Nevertheless, as well here, naming got better, next, channel, exit. It's much easier to understand, like in previous versions, at least for me. So that looks really good. I could have scanned better inside the rubber support holes. Yes. But it is an example. If you really insist on it, write in the comments. I will scan them. I think you believe me, that is possible. Something I really would like to have in the metrology software. Please, 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 engineers from Shining, put there as well the mode for creating a volume. I know that's against the philosophy of metrology, but it is for a lot of people very useful. Let's not implement it here. We can just create a normal STL. We can afterwards fill the holes. You have here the possibility of small holes filling. That's not exactly the same. You have here small floating objects filter. That means if there is some area that you didn't delete and it's not from the part, you can do that already here. You can just play around if you want to check it. Small holes filter, that means if there are small holes between different parts of the point cloud. Here it's not a mesh still in this preview. And marker holes filling means if you have on the part markers, like we don't have it here, they will be filled. So if you want to play around with it and you are not sure if you made something wrong, for example in the filters, just click here, click again, and everything will be set to where it was. Okay, no filter in this case. I could have put one because I think a little filtering in this surface doesn't harm, but result will be fine. And this is our meshed object, and just crazy, look at the screws inside this gap. They will capture. That's really crazy, and that have to do with the single line laser mode and the camera angles. So look at that, it's there. I would not ever have been possible to do that with an EinScan HX. I should have scanned a bit more detail here, but as I sometimes close that not so important areas with the volume mode, I didn't do so. I just could manually fill that holes by selecting them. I think I can select them all at once. Let's see. Control A, no. So I just have to test out if there is a possible way to, let's say, fill them all the same in once. That means in the manual holes filling, you can select one area that you want to fill, and here you have a curvature based selection mode where you can say keep continuing with the borders of your open areas in tangent or curvature consistent way. That means you can influence the curvature, let's say, situation on this filling and flat. Most of the times curvature based is very good, but it's a bit, let's say, having the tendency of making a lot of bendings. Tangent is a good compromise, and just straight and flat filling is with flat that doesn't respect any curvature. Here you cannot even really recognize where it's filled very easily. If I would put the filter on here as well, the mesh would have been a bit more smooth, but overall it surprised me. It's a very good result, I guess. So guys, that's it for this video. Let's continue in the next video with the high detail test and continue in the other video that will follow the next video with the IR scanning. So see you there.